I have a question for you. Have you ever had a crazy idea in Minecraft that makes no sense? Well, welcome to today's episode because I will be turning the overworld into a deep dark biome. Yes, you heard me right. To do this, I'm going to need a Sculk catalyst and a mob farm. The Sculk catalyst can turn blocks into Sculk blocks and generate Sculk shriekers and Sculk sensors when the mobs that drop XP die within range of it. The plan is to let them loose and see how much damage they can do to the overworld. So right now I only have 3 Sculk catalysts. So let's just look around and try to find some without spawning a warden. I think that's enough though. I was able to get 16 of the Skull Catalyst. Yeah, let's not be greedy, let's get out of here. To use Elytra to get back or not use Elytra? That is the question. Now let's go for it. So now I have enough Skull Catalyst with 19. Well, for the mob spawner part of this, as insane as this sounds, I'm actually going to build another version of this creeper farm. Now, the one I'm going to be building is a lot simpler version of this because I don't need creepers. It can be any mob, so it's a lot easier to build, and I don't have to build the water part underneath. I just have to figure out the exact spot I want to build it, and then build the exact same version of this. And of course, I can't use this because, well, it's my gunpowder farm, and it's over ocean. Shocking, I know. Now, the tricky part about this is I have to figure out the exact perfect spot that I want to build this, where I basically want to destroy the entire landscape. I think with this one it would be amusing, but there are too many trees here. I think a frozen peak might be amusing. I guess these are jagged peaks, but it would be a bit tricky with the terrain. So I think I found the exact right spot I want to do. So here's a village, there is a pillager outpost, there's some stony stuff, but it's mostly a savanna, which will be interesting to see it become a deep dark biome. I think this is a good spot to work with. Before I worked on this project, I needed shulker boxes really badly. I've been losing a lot of them lately. I'll have to explain why later. Anyways, I went into the end and just tried to grab enough shulker boxes for this. It was going pretty well, but I think I overdid it, and I got caught in a large room with a ton of shulkers. Plus, I was befuddled by trying to eat and hold a shield, so unfortunately I died off screen. That was not good, as I had a bunch of valuable stuff on me. So that leads me to the ancient city. Since I died in that unusual spot and I have no idea where I was in the end, I'm going to try to get 1 echo shard, then I can craft a recovery compass, which should make it a lot easier to try to find my gear. Okay, good. So I got 3 echo shards, which is enough. It looks like I've pretty much looted all of the ancient city. So that's all I wanted. Now I can get out of here. Okay, so I have the 8 echo shards required and I have a compass. So let's craft that. You can see it's spinning all over the place because I'm not in the right dimension. Okay, so it's saying I should go in this direction. So obviously I want to go up there first. I should have brought some building blocks. Okay, so that direction. So the goal is to strictly just try to get my stuff and get out of there. I don't want to deal with the shulkers because, well, the current gear I have is not very good. So there's that. So I think this is the right one. There's all my stuff right there. So I definitely was able to recover most of my items, I at least think. I'll have to double check. But that was a big success. So if you're wondering if the recovery compass is useful, that's a good example because I never would have been able to recover the items because I had no idea where I was in the end. So let's try to get a couple more shulker boxes from here before I head back to my base. So after that whole conundrum of going to the end, dying, and recovering my stuff, I was able to get 14 shulker boxes out of that. The other thing I should mention is I did lose some pickaxes and shovels, but I had extras just in case that happened. I have not died in quite a while. So I have all of my supplies, my shulker box here with the slabs, the stone, the catalyst, and the redstone circuits. This is the exact spot. We're in the middle of the mob farm. I'm going to try to not touch anything in the terrain just to see how it looks. So now I just have to build the mob farm, and I have it all planned out. So I need the mobs to take fall damage to hit the ground so the skull catalyst will work, and I need enough space where I AFK down to the mob farm. So it is time to build the mob farm. So the mob farm is complete. There are all the skull catalysts. It looks like one already fell. So what I'm going to do is head up here, AFK, and allow it to run and turn the entire area into a deep dark biome. Yes, this is working and the Sculk blocks are spreading. However, it is taking a long time to do this, so I need to speed it up a bit. How I'm going to do that is improving the mob spawning. So there's a dark spot here. I'll have to light that up. And I have to light up the surrounding area because there's too many mobs that can spawn around here at nighttime. And just try to increase it so that as many mobs as possible can spawn in here so they can fall and there can be more Sculk blocks that spread. This is going to take a while. For all the light sources, I decided to go with frog light since, well, I have a farm for it. I'm still not sure why the green frog isn't producing frog lights. I also needed string for the bows to craft dispensers for expanding the mob farm. I was kind of surprised I didn't have any string. Seems like I could use a mob farm for that. Also, I had to kill mobs in the dark spot under the mob farm and light it up. Plus, lighting up the mob farm to avoid mobs spawning inside it until I'm done everything. I hate to do it, but I had to remove the trees underneath since they might be stopping some of the mobs from dying from fall damage. After that, it was placing all the frog lights on the terrain, which was a lot of frog lights. So I placed a ton of frog lights covering all of the surface. I put them one off the ground because if they were touching the ground, they would probably turn into Sculk blocks. And if you put torches on the ground, that would prevent the block from turning into a Sculk block. So now that that's done, let's move on to the mob farm. So what the plan is, I'm not just going to have one mob farm. What I'm going to do is expand it so there'll be more mobs that can spawn. So what I'm going to do is put 3 more mob farms here. And even after I'm done all this Sculk stuff, I will have a pretty major mob farm that I can use. So this is going to take a while because I have to build 3 of them, and it's also going to be pretty difficult because the overhang is going to be a lot of placing slabs at a weird height where you have to sneak. So let's get started. everything is set up. All 4 of the mob farms are set. I think I just have to move the catalyst underneath, but you can see tons of mobs are already spawning in there, which is great. And I just have to place the catalyst in the right spot for it to work. Okay, so I think everything is set, and now is a good time to actually turn this thing on and see if it turns the entire landscape into a deep dark biome. Enough for now. I was hoping that it would cover the village and also the pillager outpost, but it really seems to be struggling right now. As it gets a lot bigger, it has a lot more area to cover, so it's not spreading as quickly, or it really doesn't seem to be spreading at all anymore. But that's a crazy amount of Sculk sensors, Sculk shriekers, and Sculk blocks. Definitely covered a huge amount of area, and if I kept running it, it would eventually get a lot bigger, but I think that's enough for now. Also, if you want to get a sense of this sounds crazy in here. So if I walk, it kind of sets off shriekers all over the place. And fortunately, the shriekers can't spawn from generated Sculk shriekers, so it just makes a ton of noise, if you can hear. So it just sets off everything around here, and it is so annoying. So the question is, what do I do with this thing now that I've had it all spread out? What I want to do is actually make it into a mob farm, so create a collection system, but I still want this thing to work. So what I'm going to do is create a system where it collects the items that the mobs drop, but the Sculk catalyst can still work and spread everything around. This is probably a good idea to do right off the bat, but might as well do it now. Man, that looks crazy flying in. So I have all of my supplies, I have the rails, so all I have to do is set up the collection system. Might be a bit tricky because I have to line it up right, but let's get started and get rid of some of these mobs. Collection system is complete, and after I did that, I actually had to do some tweaks because it wasn't quite emptying the minecart hoppers, so I added a system in here, a circuit, and eventually it goes into there. I tried to build this thing so it wouldn't be replaced by Sculk catalyst, but I forgot about certain blocks and how it can actually go over other blocks. So the top ones on the top that aren't the top ones at the top are actually stairs, so they won't be replaced by the Sculk catalyst, but the ones underneath are just calcite blocks. They are getting replaced, and I'm not sure about how the other blocks will handle, but there's obviously certain blocks that can be replaced and can't be replaced. Anyways, you can see this thing is really working well with the string, the bones, that's really working well, the gunpowder, and the rotten flesh, arrows. and then there is going to be some other drops, but this thing is definitely working well. I had it on for half an hour just to check everything. I think that is enough for today's episode. That was a lot of projects and really interesting for me at least. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.